Good morning and welcome to the little apartment on the prairie. So on this channel, I've done a lot of videos talking about preparing, what kind of food to stock up on, where to store your food, your canned goods and stuff. I've talked about having a way to filter water or storing bottled water. I've talked about, prepping when you don't have a lot of money. If you've waited to the last minute, you're new to prepping, and you're hearing that there may be shortages of food and other things this fall, how do you get started if you're new to the whole idea. What I want to talk about today is 10 cheap preps. Things you can stock up on for less than $10. Most of the stuff you can probably find at your local dollar store. Some of it you could get for more like $5, but it's all under $10. So if you had $100, you could go get all of this stuff. But what I would suggest doing, if most of you don't have an extra $100 in your pocket right now, because I sure don't, you could plan every time you get paid to buy one of these things. You could just pick one each time you get paid. You could stock up on one a month, or if you get paid every other week, maybe you can afford to do one each week, or depending on if it's one that's, going to cost you $10, or if it's just $5, maybe you could do two. But they're really cheap things, and like I said, most of these items you can probably find at your favorite dollar store. Might cost you more than $1, but they're still really cheap. So the first thing on my list is duct tape. If you don't have duct tape, go buy a roll or two. You can get a roll of duct tape for under $5, so you could get a couple rolls if you can spend $10. But if you don't have $10, just get one roll. You can use duct tape to mend all kinds of things. If you're in kind of an emergency situation, you need to mend a backpack, a tent, a shoe, a winter jacket, a rain poncho. A strip of duct tape can do it. Isaac, bring me your Kong. No room service, remember? Bring the Kong. I give you a treat. Bring it here. He's just going to lay there. I think he's really mad because I'm talking to somebody else besides him, and Whiskers is getting attention. Bring me your Kong. Bring it here. And Whiskers is like, what is that dog whining about? I want attention. Get your Kong. It was like right behind him and he doesn't see it. Isaac. Sometimes you wonder how he can find anything. Get your Kong. He's like, oh, there it is. Yeah, I was practically sitting on it and I couldn't find it. Okay. If it's winter and you need to save money on your heat, or if your power goes out and it's really cold, you can tape newspaper or pieces of cardboard or plastic over your windows to help insulate things. You can just use duct tape to mend all sorts of things. And so that's one of the things on my list. Whiskers, get your claws out of me. Okay, number 2 on the list is needles and thread. If you lose a button and you can't button up your coat, you're in trouble. If you have a rip in your clothes and you're short on cash, you can't just go out and buy new clothes because you have a rip, or it's hard to get new clothes. There are shortages of things. Being able to do basic repairs is important, and even if you don't know how to sew, you can probably figure out how to put a button on your coat. You can probably figure out how to sew up a rip in your pants. It may not look pretty if you don't know what you're doing, and if you want to know how to do basic mending, and I think you should, you can look that up on YouTube, but you're not going to be able to do it if you don't have a needle and thread. You can buy a cheap pack of needles and a spool of thread for $5. Buy a bigger pack of needles and a few spools of thread if you've got $10. Some needles are better than others, but if you just want to sew up things that you really have to sew, you just buy the cheap needles. They're fine. They'll do the job. Number 3 on the list is batteries. So if you don't have a flashlight, go buy one, but hopefully you have one. You may have other things that run on batteries. Buy extra batteries. You can go to the dollar store, get whatever size batteries you need. Check your flashlights. If you've got more than one flashlight, you may need different sizes of batteries. For $10, you can buy a decent amount of batteries. Number 4 is to buy an extra can opener. If you've got canned goods, you probably have a can opener, and most people have some canned goods in their house. If you're storing extra canned goods for an emergency, you need to have a manual can opener, because if you've got one of those electric ones, that's great, but what are you going to do if the power is out? Manual can openers seem like they break easy. I mean, I can get one to last me a couple years maybe, and then they break. Buy an extra one. If you've already got one, that's great. Buy an extra one, have 2. Or pick up 2 extra ones. You can probably get one for $5 at the dollar store. Pick up 2, have extras, put them away somewhere if you've got the, an extra $5. So number 5 on my list of items is heavy duty trash bags. You can get trash bags that are meant for contractors to use, or sometimes the trash bags that are like meant for lawn and garden stuff. Get really heavy duty trash bags, because you can use them for all kinds of things. If you need to tape plastic over your windows, use those. If there's a flood or a hurricane or whatever, and you need to keep clothes or other items dry, put them in the trash bag. If you need to, tape the trash bag closed. If your trash bag gets a little tear in it, slap a piece of duct tape on it. You can also use them if you're in a situation where you don't have power or water and you need to make a toilet. Put a heavy-duty trash bag in a 5-gallon bucket, preferably one with a lid. Use it for the toilet. Put the lid on it to deal with the smell. You can tie it shut, tape it shut, to dispose of it. By the way, if you pick up one of those pool noodles at the dollar store, which are on sale right now because it's the end of summer, you can cut a slit in that so that it can fit around the rim of a 5-gallon bucket and kind of make yourself sort of a toilet seat. But get the trash bags. Of course, you can also use them for trash. All right, number 6 is matches, and you don't need $10 worth of matches. I mean, you can buy $10 worth of matches, but you can get a big box of matches for less than $10. If you store them in a glass jar, they're waterproof, like a mason jar or a pickle jar, any kind of jar that's glass. You could put them in a plastic jar too if it's like watertight, like a peanut butter jar or something, but I prefer glass jars. If you cut a circle of sandpaper the size of the lid and glue it on the inside of the jar lid, then you've got something to strike the matches on. You can light candles, you can light fires, you can whatever you need to start a fire, even if it's a storm, even if it's wet, if you're in a flood, if you have a hurricane or a tornado or whatever, your matches will stay dry if they're in a jar. All right, number 7. Get some Band-Aids and some antibiotic ointment like Neosporin or what's the other one? Whatever. I get the generic, Bacitracin, something like that, but I would triple antibiotic ointment. I usually go for the generic because it's got the same ingredients. It's just cheaper. Get it at the dollar store. Get a big box of Band-Aids in assorted sizes. And get the antibiotic ointment. You can probably get a box of Band-Aids and some generic antibiotic ointment for $5. Get a bigger box of Band-Aids and a couple tubes of antibiotic ointment if you've got $10. All right, number 8 is an over-the-counter painkiller like acetaminophen, aka Tylenol, or ibuprofen like Advil or Motrin. But again, I get the generic, same ingredients. It's cheaper. You can get a big bottle of that for under $5. If you've got $10, pick up some other over-the-counter medication. I got some generic Benadryl, 24 tablets for $1 the other day at the dollar store. Think about allergy or cold medications, cough syrup, antacid, whatever, or children's Tylenol if you've got kids, you know, whatever over-the-counter meds you got, you can probably get 3 different things for $10. But if you've only got $5, you know, you can get a generic over-the-counter painkiller like generic Tylenol or ibuprofen for under $5. Number 9, pick up some soap, some toothpaste, and a package of toothbrushes. If you're in some kind of a long-term emergency, or even if some of this is good just if, you know, you lose your job or you get laid off or something, if you don't have cash coming in for a while. You can use soap not only to wash your hands and your body, but you can wash your hair with soap if you need to. Of course, I don't have hair, but, you know, you could probably also throw in some generic shampoo and still keep this under $10. Get whatever, you know, brand of toothpaste is on sale, and you can get cheap toothbrushes if you can't afford the more expensive ones, but for $10 you can have some personal care items like this saved up. And the final item is pick up some bleach or some sort of a generic cleaner. Bleach is good because it, you know, it disinfects, it sanitizes surfaces. You can put it in a spray bottle with water and use it to quickly sanitize all the often touched surfaces in your house. Vinegar is a great cleaner for glass, countertops, toilets, all that kind of stuff, and it's really, really cheap. And then pick up some dish soap. If you've got a little extra money, add some laundry detergent. This will, you know, let you do your household cleaning. If you don't have dish soap, how are you going to clean your dishes in an emergency? But you can just pick up a couple basic cleaning things like this. You could probably get bleach and vinegar for $5. Dish soap, you can probably find some brand at the dollar store for $1, so you could get this for under $10. And if you get really cheap laundry detergent in a small box or a bottle of it, you could probably add that and still keep it to the $10. So these are my 10 cheap prep items. They're certainly not all the items. Let me know what other items you would add to this list. But this is a good start for things to make sure you've got on hand for emergencies once you've covered food, water, you know, a flashlight or some candles, you know, just some extra things to add. And then also, of course, make sure you've got prescription medications, but these are some extra things to add in that can really make a big difference, and they're cheap. Isaac, shush. So let me know in the comments what items you'd add. Come here, Isaac. What items you would add. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you hit the little bell icon, YouTube will let you know when I post new content, which at some point I want to do on a regular basis, but now it's whenever I have the opportunity to. I hope everybody's having a great day. Stay safe, friends.